Hey guys, David here with Northwest Outdoor Adventures, and today we're going to talk about the top 5 beginner motorcycles. Whether you're a girl, boy, big, tall, fat, small, these bikes could be for you. So let's put together this personal opinion list of my top 5 favorite beginner bikes, starting with bike number 1. Bike number 1 on my list should come as no surprise. It's none other than the Honda Rebel 250. Now let me tell you why this bike is so special and why it reaches the top of so many lists. I mean, it's cheap as dirt, parts are cheap as dirt, they're everywhere, and they've been made pretty much the same for the past, 20 years almost. I mean, these things are pretty much bulletproof, and they'll take you from point A to point B on a quarter tank of gas, basically anywhere you go. Miles per gallon is great, cost of ownership is extremely low, high resale value. You can't go wrong with this bike. I mean, if you're just looking to start out and you're not sure if you're really interested in riding, this is really the bike for you. I mean, the only problems you might have with this bike is lack of power. If you weigh over, maybe 250-ish, 275, you might have problems riding on the freeway. Or if you're over, if you're over 6 foot, you're probably gonna have a little bit of comfort issues on the bike. But other than that, I would say, at least, very least, go to the dealership and try and ride this bike, because you'll probably fall in love with it if it's your first bike. The next bike on my list is partially because I owned it and I had so much fun on it when I first started riding, is the KX250 SF by Kawasaki. This bike is super lightweight, really fun to ride on, and I think that everyone should really give a dual sport or a supermoto a try when they're first learning, because like I said, I mean, they're fun on trips. You can take them off road, just go around, have some fun back on some trails and stuff, and I don't know anyone that's had one that hasn't liked it. So again, you can find these used easily in the 2,000 to 3,000 range, if not lower, for slightly worse models. And parts are cheap, labor on it's cheap, everything on it pretty cheap, and if you wreck it, it's not that big of a loss. So, at least look into them. Now, bike number 3 was actually my first bike that I owned, and that was a Ninja 250. I'd say Ninja 300 probably falls into the same category. Basically, if you're totally put off by the look of the Honda Rebel, and you really don't care about dual sports or riding off-road at all or anything like that, and you want the look of a street bike and you are interested in street bikes, but you really don't think you're ready for it yet, I think the Ninja 250 is a really great option. Or 300. They've been around a long time, so parts are readily available. You can find them used pretty cheap. I mean, you could do sub 3K pretty easily, especially if you go back into the earlier years, sub 2007, you could probably get, some of those older ones for under 2K even if you're lucky. And yeah, so I think it's a good alternative to the first 2 bikes if, those styles just isn't for you. Still good gas mileage, overall good bike. Bike number 4 is a little bit of a same as the first. I'd say that I'd lump the other 250s all into this category. That meaning, I'd say, like the Yamaha WR 250 or 250X. I'd put in the Suzuki GZ 250 or even the Yamaha V-Star 250. Any of those 250s that aren't the first 3 that I mentioned, I'd kind of put into this category. Just like I said, those first 3 are kind of my favorites and my personal preference because I've owned all of them and I really enjoyed all of them. And I'd also lump the CBR 250 in this category. All of these are fine bikes if you either can't find the first 3 or if you just, are looking for something else. You don't necessarily trust those brand names, so I'd say, looking at one of these other 250s first. I'm kind of a strong proponent of going with the 250 as your first bike if you're not, skilled at all in riding or anything like that. I know a lot of people have their own opinions on that, but, personally I think it's better to just learn on a 250. It's safer for everyone. I mean, unless you've had some kind of prior riding experience and stuff, it's probably for the safe side just to stick with the 250. But if not, look for bike number 5. And bike number 5 is none other than the Kawasaki Ninja 650. So this not super aggressive anyways, street bike, will get you from point A to point B, even if you are slightly bigger, and it's not the 250, so you'll have the power behind it, good power, good torque, good bike, and for a beginner bike, you know, I mean, it's slightly heavier than all the other bikes I had mentioned before, but if you think that you catch on quick and you can handle the power, I mean, the throttle's not overwhelming or anything like that, so you certainly could learn on this bike, and I think if you're going to do it on any kind of street bike or anything like that, that would be the bike to do it on. So, and again, what would this be without some honorable mentions, as I know everyone has their own opinions on starter bikes and things like that, and I'd just like to throw out a few more that failed to make my list that I still really like and, you know, could have easily gone into the list. And probably the starter would be the DRZ 400. Again, like I said, I really enjoy, you know, dual sports and supermotos and things like that, and I think that, you know, really any dual sport would make a good first bike, and so, you know, that would include any of the old Hondas or anything like that, or really any kind of dual sport I think should be somebody's first bike, just because it's not that steep of a learning curve, it's pretty fun. A lot of people, you know, have ridden dirt bikes and stuff when they were younger, possibly, so, you know, I don't know, I just think they're pretty good. And then I'd also throw in there, you know, if you're looking for more of like a Harley type vibe, you know, I think the 883 or any of the lower CC Sportsters, you know, wouldn't be horrible to learn on. They are pretty heavy, but if you're a bigger guy or something like that, or a bigger gal, you could easily learn on those. They don't have, you know, overwhelming power or anything like that, so you could. I'd say my biggest advice when buying as a new rider would be, if this is your first bike, don't buy new. It's almost never a good idea. I mean, usually the bike that you first buy is not going to be the bike you keep for your entire life, so I would definitely say buy used or older or something. I mean, try and get something that, you know, you're not going to have to work on day in and day out, but getting to know your bike is not a bad thing, and you know, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be performing, you know, like your routine maintenance and things like that, and small repairs, and a moderately older bike, you know, could really help you do that, and you wouldn't be afraid to make mistakes and things like that. And you know, it's not going to kill you if you, well, I mean, I guess it could kill you, but it's not going to kill your pockets if you wreck an older bike, as opposed to, you know, a brand new bike that maybe, you know, even if you do have insurance on it, your deductible is probably going to be fairly high. And yeah, so I'd just say it's not a good road to go down buying brand new for your first bike, and I'd hold off until your second or third or fourth or fifth or whatever. So yeah, you know, happy hunting out there, guys, and I wish everyone luck on their first bike if that's why you're watching this video. So thanks for watching it. See you guys in the next one. Have a good day.